Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Test of Life. So here we are on the 19th of June, episode 104. So 104. Wow. Still clicking up, and we're still here.
They haven't caught up to us yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Although I just noticed that there was a notice from Google that Hangouts is going to disappear shortly. So they may get us eventually.
Oh,
We'll just find something
That
else.
was a brand new notice I just got when we went to live to air. So
really?
yeah.
Wow,
Well,
that's nice.
Say hello to our co-host, Mr. Russell Frost, in San Diego today.
Hello from the bottom left corner of America. It's a little bit chilly here today. It's like 68 degrees.
68, a little chilly.
There's not a lot of sun. It's kind of, we're doing that June gloom, night and morning low clouds thing. But I'm struggling, and I appreciate your support. I will get through this. We will rebuild.
Keep up on those those antidepressing songs and everything. Keep your spirits high with that gloom coming in June.
I thought you were talking about the antidepressant drugs, which I eat by the handful, but no, okay.
You were going to grab a handful.
Also, our friend in
The
North
bottom
Carolina,
right part of the country.
North or South Carolina? I forgot. South Carolina. Mr. Casey Green.
Hello from the bottom right half of the country.
Bottom right center, really.
Yeah.
I'd say what? Just a few states below you. So you got to be in Florida to be the bottom, the very bottom.
I'm only 2 states up from Florida.
I tell you, Geography 101. This is what you've come here for. I know.
But I'm on the edge. I'm on the coast.
You're on the coast. Yes. Mid-Atlantic state.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Southern Mid-Atlantic.
It's a little south to be mid-Atlantic. I like to call that the SEC.
There you go. That's very accurate.
Okay. That's interesting. Interesting.
I know, but it's a reference that most people get that I don't even really fully get. But it seems like everybody gets that one.
The state most in competition with Alabama and Mississippi, and the other one to be the worst at everything.
Everyone to be the worst at everything. Yes.
Yeah, there's that too. Ouch.
Our first story of the evening, Model X Off-Road. Mr. Green, take it away.
Yes. So my friends at Outer Spec Motoring took, I don't know where this Model X came from. I have to read into that.
It wasn't yours, huh?
It was definitely not mine. But they took it into some real muddy situation, and it looks like they had a blast. And on the video, they didn't destroy anything. So
on the video, right.
Yeah.
So they take this brand new Model X and they take it onto an off-road course through the woods.
Yes. So if it's brand new, then that would be their Model X before they sold it.
So buyer beware.
It's already been sold. It's a 2016 Model X. I think it was a P90D or just a 90D, but it looked like a blast. Not something I'd try with my own car, but
yeah. After we saw that video from Mr. Bjorn Nyland of Norway,
yes,
right,
where he took his brand new Model X into an off-road mode.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever get close to off-road with a Model X.
His Model X is named Optimus Prime. And it's also a P90D. He tore it up. It looks like you can choose mud or snow, but not both. Or at least just don't let Bjorn drive your car, because his new car, the Model 3, he took it ice racing, and its name is MC Hammer. And MC Hammer got a little bump on the chin and needed a new bumper cover.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Bjorn's a little hard on vehicles.
Yeah.
So
he blamed it on the snow tires. He said that the Tesla snow tires weren't that great.
That's not the problem. You can say that after maybe one accident, but you get into 2 or 3, and guess what? The problem's who's sitting in the driver's seat. That's where the problem lies, unfortunately. Sure. But no, this was an interesting video of them zipping through off-road mode. But man, how you do that with a car that expensive. Like,
It's like the same people who do it with the Land Rovers. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like expensive vehicles to be taken out and bouncing off boulders or trees or ravines. It's something that I just cringe watching.
The whole time I was like, oh my goodness.
What are they doing? What on earth are they doing? Next story, we talk a little bit about CNET. They got the chance to do a ride along with a Tesla mobile service representative. So they published an article, put up a little video of them going around with a mobile technician. Actually, I here had the experience of meeting a mobile technician in my area, and we had showed some photos on this podcast a few weeks ago of that. Very similar mobile car in both circumstances, with the Model S converted with a, I guess, a tray setup in the hatchback of the car. So you pop the back, and these long trays will slide out with tools that are mounted on the trays. So the technician has easy access to grab things. So they talked a little bit about different things that go on, excuse me, common elements that happen, what services are rendered on the road, and not a surprise, but certainly some of the people that received some of the services certainly were happy to get things done in their driveway or their place of work. So it's an interesting way of getting service that typical manufacturers don't supply this type of service at all. So this is something unique to Tesla. Well, there are some that do provide it, but certainly the majority of them don't.
And most of the ones that do something like it, they usually come and take your car. They don't
actually. They deliver it to for you, and then bring it back to your place of work or home.
Yeah. So I'm very familiar with Tesla Mobile Service.
They have your number memorized, don't they, Casey?
Yeah. If I send a text, it'll show up with my name on it. So the nearest service center to me is an 8-hour round trip. And the next nearest service center is a 9.5-hour round trip. And I've been to the service center 3-4 times, and mobile service has seen me probably about 12 times. So
that's over the time you've owned a car. Like it has been a couple times that.
This is over 2 cars.
Yeah.
So. It started with my Model S, and they had an old Transit Connect. They'd drive it down from Charlotte every couple days, and they would just take care of everybody in the area, just put you in a queue. And now they have a new Transit Connect, and the technician lives in town with us, and he's actually an owner, so he's in our owners club as well as a private citizen. It's a blast. Yeah.
And what does he tell you about their crew? Are they
telling me to stop putting in so many tickets about useless stuff? So recently my axle nuts were loose, so he came by and he brought his jack and torque wrench and picked up the car and took the wheels off, put them back on, and without the center caps, and torqued down the axle nuts, and retorqued the lug nuts, and I was on my way.
The axle nuts were loose?
It happened on my Volt too. It might be the way I drive.
if it happens more than once.
And 2 different vehicles, we're thinking you're the problem, Casey.
That's where the problem could lie.
And they were both brand new to me too.
Man. So that's you gotta calm down, stop driving on 2 wheels.
Right?
That's the problem.
So other times it's been stuff like firmware diagnosis or just adjustments to the seats or the Falcon doors or my 3-door handles on Model S. The door handles on the Model S are cool, but they scare me out of warranty. So if they are still on the new one,
What's the price tag on a Model S door handle replace?
If you get a brand new one, it's between $1,000 and $1,400.
Oh,
yeah,
ouch!
yeah. So I was quick to make them go away.
That could get crazy after warranty is gone.
I had 3 on my car and 2 on loaners, brand new loaners. Well, one was brand new and the other was.
Question though, did any time that you had one replaced that one failed again?
Yes.
Oh, that is brutal.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I am glad the Model 3 has manual door handles.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad the Model X has no door handles.
Yeah,
so
that's even better.
The technician at the time, because they switched us, like I said, from the Charlotte guy to the one that lives here. So the Charlotte guy, he showed me how to make it present just the driver's door handle, and that gave me peace of mind until I was ready to let the car go.
Okay.
Yeah. So you put it in driver unlock only, and it'll only pop out the one door handle, and then you have to manually unlock the rest.
So then you have a better chance of the other 3 working when you need them to work.
Especially if the other 3 haven't been replaced with the new version. The driver's door handle that he told me was a new version, but I don't know about any of the others. So
well,
yes.
Next story: Elon appears at E3, which, for those of you who don't know what E3 is, it's basically a video game conference, the largest of its kind per year, held in the Los Angeles area this year. I'm not sure if it's held there every year, but certainly it's typically on the West Coast. But this year it was in LA. And Elon was announced one morning that he was going to be on one of the panels, and showed up and had a discussion about video games, surprisingly. Elon talked a little bit about, of course, Tesla's, I guess, connection with video games a little bit. Talked about some of the new releases that are coming to the Tesla Arcade, where you're going to have, like the Cuphead was announced previously, the Dune Buggy 2, which is about to be released. It just started just recently. There's some people that have been introduced to it, but it certainly was video game centric. If you have interest in games, certainly it's an interesting one to listen to, but a little bit less if you're just interested in Tesla as a car company. But it was a conversation on stage that was held during one of the events at E3. So I listened to it. It was okay. It wasn't completely my cup of tea, but it was gave you some more insight into what Elon does.
There you go.
Next we've got a picture that we're going to share. Someone took their Model 3.
Uh-oh.
And so while he moves that up,
they moved the plate.
There you go.
So this is an Ontario car, and Ontario requires a front plate. This particular gentleman took his standard mount off and then used the tow hook area to put the plate into. There's an accessory you can buy that will attach to a plate holder and then screw into the tow hook area. But it was, I don't know. We did a bit of a poll on the Twitter feed, and I would say that 85% of people indicated that they didn't like it at all. It was not something that they felt looked all that good with a Model 3. And I tend to agree with them. It's just, it looks a bit weird.
I'm curious how it will look on the Model X.
Yeah, that could be different.
It might be more proportional there.
What if you need the tow hook?
Well, if you do need the tow hook, then you're unscrewing the plate.
Yeah.
So
okay, it is.
It's not on the tow hook. It's just on the tow hook threads.
Correct. It is on the tow hook thread. So I don't know. It would looked a little weird. but it just be maybe because I'm used to it now. And we had some people comment that they would go without the front plate, and it was like, guess what? If you're in a jurisdiction that requires a front plate, then collecting that fine every day or when a policeman decides to pull you over is probably not worth it.
So the question there is it like California where they only have to be on while parked, or do they have to be on all the time?
In our jurisdiction, all the time.
Okay.
So it is a requirement. Actually, the provincial government here, the new one, had floated the motion of getting rid of the front plate, and the provincial police quickly shot that down. Said there's no way they wanted that to happen. They would much rather have a front plate to identify vehicles as opposed to it disappearing. So
they seem to do just fine in places like this where we only have the rear plate.
Right. So interesting anyways. A little view of what is available or can be done to modify the look of your M3.
So going back to the Elon E3 thing. So after my mobile technician left, I had the car hooked up to Wi-Fi on a cell phone, and an update had appeared. And I was like, oh, maybe this is the games. No. I got the release right before that. No new games.
None,
None. But it does have where the auto dimming at night is supposed to be at the right level. I haven't driven it in the dark yet to find out, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did get that update as well, Casey.
Have you driven it in the dark?
And put it in, and I was looking again for the Dune Buggy 2 game as well, but nope, it was not there.
Psych.
Yep, exactly. So that's amazing how they can roll it out to so quickly in some cases. In other cases, it doesn't happen. It's rolled out to just specific regions or smaller amounts of people. It must be something about how they believe that what they're rolling out is, I guess, lesser of a problem or a possibility of a problem.
I think so. These last two builds, the 2019.20.0. whatever, .1 and .2 in my case, they seem to be much better than the previous three firmware updates. So maybe they're trying not to have a repeat.
Yeah, you don't want to repeat. But that's interesting that maybe things are picking up, but I guess we'll see as releases go along if that continues to be the case, if they're as widespread as the last two have been. Next story, a little bit about used Model 3s are now appearing on the Tesla website in certain areas.
How is that possible? They appreciate in value.
Well, the new Model 3 Standard and Standard Plus are less expensive than the used Model 3. So they might still be appreciating in value. We don't have anything to compare it to yet.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Mr. Frost, because the another article that was written today about this same information was that they felt that the Model 3 used prices were quite high compared to other used vehicles using the same scale of the vehicle being a year old. It seemed that the prices were it looked better to buy the new car as opposed to the used car in a number of cases. So again, these are Tesla. Tesla is the one that's pricing these cars and putting them on. I'm not sure where they're getting them. If these are really used cars, some of them have some mileage on them. And keep in mind, we did say they were in certain areas. Certainly the Bay Area is where a lot of these are. But none in my local area as of yesterday. That might have changed, but it's only some certain pockets that have these cars.
So if you went to trade your car into Tesla, will they still try to steal it like they did with my Model S?
I would say yes.
Okay, because they're what they offered was so laughably low that I just took it to a Ford dealership and sold it there.
Right, but are you talking about the trade-in of a gas car or the trade-in of your S?
My S.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were one of the highest prices on the Volt.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, my guess would be that they're still trying to steal it. I think Tesla doesn't want to be involved in a used car type scenario, and the only reason they would get involved is if they could get it for a steal and make a quick turnaround profit on it. I would think
25% profit margin.
Yeah,
on everything.
Exactly. So depending on the area you're in, check the Tesla website and see if you've got some deals in your area. And while you're doing that, send us in a note through our Facebook at the Tesla Life #1 or our Twitter feed at the Tesla Life, and let us know what you feel about the prices. Are they high? Are they what you expected, or are there any deals to be had in your area? So keep track of that. Oh, yeah. And our next story is about Saskatchewan. Because, of course, Saskatchewan has had an issue in getting superchargers for quite some time. So let's see if we can share for those of you who geographically don't know exactly where that is.
Yeah. I wonder why.
It's a little bit above North Dakota and Montana.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can see here in the photo that we've got our first construction cone has appeared for the supercharger in Saskatchewan. So this is, and of course, notably, the city is Moose Jaw. because it's a distinctly Saskatchewan name for sure. Good place to have your first one under construction.
This also brings up a really neat point that they are also completing their North Dakota. It had 0.
Exactly. The permits are there in North Dakota. The blue indicates permits.
Yeah,
the red indicates actual operating superchargers.
Right.
And of course, the cones are under construction.
Right. But that's further than they were for a long time. I mean, and only that, but it looks like they're connecting.
The permits have been there for a little while now. Like, I think they've been, actually, if I was to just go back and hover over on North Dakota, I can click on it. 442 days. This one has had a permit for it. Nice. So that's over a year. That's only 84 days.
Bismarck,
and this one's 67 days. And Fargo, 445 days. So, 452 in Alexandria, Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine why Tesla isn't hurrying to finish North Dakota. Wait, yes, I can.
Yes, you can.
Whenever anybody asks if I can go anywhere, I say, yeah, I can go anywhere, except take me a little longer in North Dakota. And then they say, why? I say, well, they have a little issue when people ask for land use rights in their area.
Exactly. So what's nice here is that the North Dakota one, you're going to have to get into Montana to connect to the other side.
Yeah.
And here, the Trans-Canada line, you can see that we've got a couple holes in Northern Ontario and in Saskatchewan, a couple more to be filled. But once those are filled in, we've basically got a cross-country route, excluding the province of Newfoundland. That's all by itself and has no chargers whatsoever from Tesla.
But, no love for Newfoundland.
Nothing for Newfoundland at this point. But since we're updating superchargers, I'll show you Atlantic Canada, which is fantastic. That a number of them are under construction now, which will complete the route all the way to Halifax.
There you go.
So, and also they've connected Maine into the Atlantic Canada as well. So it's just south of St. Stephen.
So you see Ontario plates on Teslas everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. They're coming, people. They are
a whole bunch of Canadian Tesla owners invading Maine. Great.
So I noticed
be warned.
You've got Maine, and then it looks like you've got they're planning on North Dakota and somewhere out west based on your map. Yep. So they're going to have...
Certainly, the established network is from Edmonton to Calgary, and then to the west, all the way to Vancouver. Right. And that's been established for quite some time. I think it was almost one of the first in Canada to be established. But these additional ones, this guy here is in Medicine Hat, Alberta. There should be one or two in between Moose Jaw and Medicine Hat.
If you want to
it
make
looked
that
like
trek, you need a 400-mile Tesla.
yeah, you some hypermiling like that Moscow location may be required.
Yeah.
Not quite as much.
Oh,
But,
go over to Moscow. How's it looking now? I bet you they've got some more out there finally.
let's go take a look at Moscow. So we'll cross the Atlantic here.
Europe
Into
is solid.
And look, it's
by
all by itself. So for those of you who don't know, we're using the supercharge.info map, which is updated independently of Tesla. And it's a fantastic map to see what's going on. What's really nice are these tabs up top where you can look at changes in the system. And at any point, any day, it'll tell you ones that are open, ones that are under construction, ones that are permitted. And it's a great little tool that I use all the time. So it's fantastic to use, and the people that are maintaining it do a wonderful job. Other bonus is that you can go to one of the sites, you can click on it. For example, this one here in Sudbury, and then you can click on discuss, and it will bring you to the TMC page that's dedicated to that particular supercharger. So all the people talking about what's going on locally, sharing pictures and information, you can grab that very easily. So it's a fantastic way to see what's going on supercharger wise.
I wonder if it's kosher for me to put my reviews on there.
Probably not. You could ask. That's something. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, our next story comes from a name that we've heard in the past throughout all our EV lives, and Mr. Frost has got this story.
I do indeed. Chat room, are you ready? That's all I'm saying.
The chat room game as well.
I'm thinking about you, chat room. Okay, I'm pointing at the screen and nobody can tell her at the camera, which that's no fun. But anyway, now you can see. Mr. Bob Lutz, affectionately known as Maximum Bob, 87-year-old, very much storied career in the auto industry. He is one of the few humans to have actually held a high position in all three quote unquote American car companies. That's Chrysler, Ford, and GM. Bob, famous for, of course, not liking electric vehicles very early on, but really thinking the only thing that would save Cadillac was the V12.
Early on,
yeah. And he did. Later on, championed the Volt once they fixed the body and got to it. So, yay. Why am I talking about Bob Lutz? Well, as it happens, Mr. Lutz managed to just stumble into a brand new Model 3 and wrote for Road and Track a little piece about why he was so impressed with this.
Did you say impressed?
I said Bob Lutz was impressed
with the Tesla Model 3.
Quote, but when next to the car, I was stunned. Not only was the paint without a discernible flaw, but various panels formed a body of precision that was beyond reproach. Unquote. Wow. Higher praise from Mr. Lutz. I don't know that it exists. The article. I'm sorry.
He even talked about panel gaps.
He talked about panel gaps
positively.
The whole thing.
Wow.
Overall, he was very impressed with the Model 3, and
So he's back on Elon's good side?
Who knows? Who knows?
I don't.
But what I found amazing was that Bob hadn't looked into this at all previously.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Why was Bob just talking, shit about Tesla previously? About their financial situation, about what's going on with them making cars, about unsustainability, about them losing money hand over fist, and yet he didn't look at the car once. He had to stumble across it in a parking lot. Granted, there's no showroom in Michigan to go look at them, but I'm sure Bob probably could get someone to drive one to his house. I don't think that would be a problem.
So is he still involved with the plug-in hybrid conversion group?
Which one?
Via?
Via no
Via
longer.
trucks.
Via no, as I think Via went under.
Oh, okay. Does that have anything to do with it?
I'm sorry?
Does that have anything to do with it? Now that he's no longer got a vested interest in hating them?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, if we want to talk trash about Bob has been a publicity whore and he loves to be in the news. He loves to be popular. Yeah. And I could put it more nicely. He loves to be in the news. He loves to be popular, but I said publicity whore.
You did.
Drink. Since he's
drink.
Drink. Exactly. All of you in the chat room drink hard. And he's been involved in VLF and Via. I think Via went under. I think VLF is still going on. I don't know what they're doing. Suffice to say, he's not really involved in any active company that's actually producing a product that I'm aware of. He just kind of, he has this Let's Communication thing, and he just does. He comments. He
just releases press releases for fun.
Yeah. And I mean, in this case, who can blame Road and Track? Oh wait, I could. We're taking the bait and publishing this crap. Because honestly, like 87-year-old dude stumbles into one Tesla and extrapolates from that the entire corporate experience.
Well, it's not the entire corporate experience.
I understand,
it is just a single vehicle that he was surprised that it wasn't falling apart, because that's all he hears or thinks about in his personal life.
Right. Which is equally ridiculous. Yeah. Him hating the whole category for no good reason is equally ridiculous as, him seeing one Tesla and going, wow, these are the best cars ever. Okay.
Yeah.
But there you go.
So I actually met him at a Via Trucks event in the Detroit Auto Show shortly after the Tesla Roadster and Chevrolet Volt had come out, and at the time he was still on the liking the Tesla and obviously the Chevy Volt. He's not going to trash talk that, and he went on to explain how much the Via truck was using the experience that they earned on the Volt, and it was kind of fun.
And that's one thing that Bob's always pushed at was that yes, he did champion the Volt and pushed it and held on to it when GM was going through financial difficulties. He held it as a halo that GM could hang on to, which they did, thankfully. But he's always said that a system that's in a Volt where you've got a generator powering a battery pack or charging up a battery pack, it makes much more sense in a larger vehicle like a truck. He's always said that. Yeah. Although that didn't help Via. Because they didn't really get off the ground with that type of publicity from Bob.
Yeah.
So, next story. Oh yeah, we talked about Mr. Bjorn Nyland earlier.
Yes, we did.
Well, he's in the news again because he decided to take. And Casey, maybe you can help me with this. I don't know if it was his Model 3 or somebody else's, but he took it to the Autobahn to see if he could get it to overheat like the Model S had done in the past.
Yeah, that one's his.
It's his. So this is the MC Hammer with the broken front nose.
It looks like it's been repaired.
Okay. So, well, he was on the track for quite some time, so maybe
go
he's
Bjorn
again. But we don't know that for sure. But anyways, Mr. Nyland took out his M3 and pushed it hard on the Autobahn, wanting to see that if there would be an overheat issue, as has been reported, of course, in Model S's. But to his somewhat surprise, the cooling system in the Model 3 was much better, or the battery layout, or a combination of both. And the vehicle did not go into a deep overheat mode where it had to slow down drastically. He said there was some lag after a little bit, but he said that it wasn't near as noticeable as what happens with the S, and he was able to keep a sustained higher speed across all of his testing on the Autobahn. So this is not a track. This is the Autobahn in Germany. So he was able to sustain higher performance with the 3 and the battery pack was able to keep things cooler, thus avoiding the problem that the S has shown in the past.
And my Model X on track day.
And Casey's Model X on track day.
Yeah, I went front wheel drive halfway around the track. Actually, a lap and a half around the track.
Right. And how far was that track, Casey? How big of a track?
Maybe 2 miles.
A 2 mile track. Okay.
Yeah.
So you basically got 3 miles out of it before things shut down.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, after it did shut down, what was required to get it back to full operating? Was there a time period in between?
Just cooling. Because it would come and go throughout the laps after that.
Okay.
But it was made for going in a straight line, like a classic American car.
Right. So nice to see that design of the new battery pack or the new cans or the cooling system or combination has been able to eliminate that, as well as, of course, why track mode was introduced to the M Model 3 first. And it's able to handle those extreme temperatures a little bit better than its predecessors could.
I think a track mode light for the P cars would be really nice, where it does the pre-cooling, and I know it can't do everything with the rear motor just because it's not built for that.
Right.
But we've got ludicrous mode, which heats up the car, which is great for going in a straight line, but the exact opposite of what you want to go around a circuit.
Exactly. Here's a story. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm not surprised, but I am somewhat disappointed.
Oh.
There's been more and more people that are being caught asleep at the wheel in autopilot. And again, some of this may be faked. Certainly somebody, feeling it's a great joke to pretend they're sleeping where their eyes closed on one side just to indicate they're sleeping so that they scare the drivers around them or whatever.
What a hilarious joke that
I know that's people. Like, you're going to get that. But that also lumps in the same category that there are people that are going to drive when they shouldn't be driving, regardless. There are people that are overtired and they should be pulling over, but they refuse to do so. And they feel that having a car in autopilot allows them to be safer, when really they should be off the road completely. What scares me with this, or what distresses me, is that not only are they taking other people's lives into their own hands, as well as their own, but they are doing this for what reason? Just because they have to get somewhere? Just because they want to meet a schedule? It's just wrong. But the other problem is that if more and more people are doing this, at some point, it could be a regulation issue where somebody like a state government or a federal government has to step in and limit things because people aren't smart enough to limit how they would use this auto pilot feature, or this not just autopilot, any particular assisting driver's device. It's something that I don't get. People are being selfish about this, and it could ruin it for many people across the board. But again, you get 1,000 people using a particular device, and there's some people that are going to abuse it. I know that's the way human nature is. And this is one of those devices that is going to be abused, but I hope they don't ruin it for everybody.
Now, a lot of these are people thinking they're pranking people. The videos I've seen, and Tesla does have some safety features in there that are better than had they done it in another car. Not the pranks, but the people who actually do lose consciousness, either through sleeping or road hypnosis or whatever.
Right.
It will stop in the lane if they, are unable to continue to confirm that they're conscious.
Right.
It'll turn the flashers on.
My only concern is, and of course that's they call that the Tesla nag, which had been increased recently. Well, not recently, like a year ago. But the only thing I'm also concerned about is these cheat devices that are being sold, under false pretenses as to what they are.
Yeah.
Being sold as a cell phone holder that attaches to your steering wheel. Guess what? That is an autopilot cheat device.
Yes, and so Tesla is doing a decent job of. Each update seems to have a new little trick to detect them. It's not foolproof by any means, but if you get into a collision and they find this, you're done. There's no argument you can use.
And the people that you killed magically come back to life.
No, right. No. That's the thing. Is somebody maybe only getting one chance to live.
And the same thing though, if that happens in a regular car, say they pass out.
No.
They're going to go in a straight line, or they might veer off the road. And
right.
No,
this gives everybody around another
does
chance.
This give a Tesla owner some false?
It should not.
Pretense that the car could drive itself.
It does, but it should not. Every time you turn it on, it says hold the wheel. But, just like that drunk guy a couple weeks ago, where the police pulled in front of his car and slowed down, and that forced the car to stop.
Yeah,
I saw an argument from a Tesla owner that said, how is this not better than someone falling asleep in a gas car and it going out of control?
I think I just said that.
Yeah, I think you did. I think that's got to be the worst argument in the planet.
It's also, like you said, it's not the prescribed use, so you shouldn't go out thinking that it's an autonomous car yet, because it's not.
And yet, Tesla continues to promote full self-driving as these cars are capable of it. You can do it. But we're just waiting for regulatory approval and software updates. They can do it. Everything there is necessary.
Physically, yes, but they tell you it's not there yet. They warn you. It's beta. It's not here yet.
Yeah, it is. It's a bad tease. Well, they certainly don't call it beta, but it is.
It still says beta.
Well, it's not. It doesn't show beta on the website when you buy it, does it?
No, they're not going to do that.
Yeah. So really, they are promoting something that they believe will be in place in the future.
Yeah. Supposedly next year.
I'm wondering if it's, we've talked about this before on the What Drives a Show, which of course, if you haven't heard of that, you should be subscribing to the What Drives a Show, which happens in about an hour and 15 minutes. So stay tuned for that. But it could be something that hurts them in the end. If many people find ways of defeating the autopilot nag, if they find ways of getting around it and there are accidents, then I can guarantee you that a regulatory commission is going to be looking at this and looking at ways to eliminate it. And that certainly could hurt anybody that is in this game trying to make full autonomy the end goal. But we will see. We will see. If you haven't already and you're watching the show, click that like button, the thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. That helps us get in front of other people as well. So please do so. And if you haven't subscribed already, give us a subscription. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us out immensely. So we would appreciate that if you could do that for us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Speaking of the Tesla website, recently... the long-range Model 3 rear-wheel drive dropped from the Tesla website again. So this is not the first time the long-wheel drive has disappeared. It disappeared shortly after it was rolled out to North America and Europe, and then disappeared for a little while. It was brought back, and now it's gone again. So again, as we say with Tesla all the time, if you're after something specific, and you think that this is what you want at this time, get it, because tomorrow it may not be there.
Or it may cost $1 million more. Not literally $1 million, but just a lot more than you expect.
Another side note to this is that just today...
I was going to do this one.
Go ahead, say it.
So, if you want to get a Tesla anytime soon, particularly a Model 3, you want to get it before in the United States. You want to get it before the end of June because the tax incentives are going away or reducing one more time, and the free color black will no longer be available. Well, actually, it will be available, but it won't be free.
It won't be black.
$1,000.
$1,000.
1,000 bones.
The free color will no longer be black.
And so people got on Elon. They're like, "So do I get to get a DeLorean colored car?" And he said, "No, it's just going to be a cheap white. So it won't have the pearl like the current white."
So they'll be introducing a simple white color
Yes.
that has not been seen to this point. Has Tesla in its history had a plain white on any vehicle?
I think the Model S, the early one, you could choose between white and pearl white, just like you used to be able to choose between black and obsidian black.
Okay. All right. So the plan is now to offer white as the default free color.
But the question is the simple white the same as white? Because Tesla, for the longest time, just would call their colors what they are: red, black, blue, green, and of course, signature red.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they started doing the automaker names.
Maybe they'll do something like calling it Arctic white, like other car companies do.
I really like the bare metal idea.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So it's like, I want mine in stainless steel.
In steel, yeah.
I'd like it in bare aluminum, please.
Bare
Looks like-
aluminum.
looks like
Yep.
Coke
It'll
bottle.
And then
save
just-
me on paint chips.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just deliver it to the vinyl wrap shop. Boom.
Yeah, there you go.
You have a Paisley car.
Can I have a primer pink?
Yeah, right?
A flat pink.
Oh,
Yes.
that would be cool, primer gray. If they dip it and they roll it out.
Oh man.
Crazy.
So we'll have to see what the new color looks like. If it looks good or if it looks bad.
Well, if it looks
But-
bad, then you know they're just trying to get another 1,000 bones.
Well,
right?
that's it. Yeah, it's like there's big blotches missing, and there's. Hopefully, that's not the case. That would not be a good PR stunt for Tesla to do. Any idea as to why black was eliminated as the default color, Casey?
I'm guessing that the prices went up on the manufacturing side.
Okay. So you're thinking it's not difficulty to apply. It's just price of paint.
Yeah, that was the reason that the white went away, was because between the two free colors, black was cheaper and it was more popular. And that's also why the prices of the other colors that went up, like the red, went up. So
Right.
that's the reason that they found a cheaper white, and they are keeping the black as a cost option.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, black does so scratches hockey. That's why I got mine wrapped, because
Yeah.
it would be
Scratches
terrible.
or swirls. And
Yeah.
of course, you wash it once, and in 6 hours, it's got a coating of dust on it that you can see already. So not a great car unless you like washing it every single day. Next, Mr. Frost has a story for us.
So I can't a sort of digital acquaintance, a gentleman named Alex Roy. For those of you not familiar with Mr. Roy is a bon vivant. He is a endurance driver. He is an entrepreneur. He is been on all episodes, a co-founder of the Autonocast, co-hosted by the evil Edward Niedermeyer. Enemy
Dr.
of
Edward
all-
Niedermeyer.
Yes, dark Satan to all Tesla fans. And interestingly enough, Alex currently holds the EV cross country record, done, I believe, in a Model 3. He also holds Cannonball Run records. He drives a lot. Suffice to say, he also is an editor at large at The Drive, and wrote an article entitled, quote, "How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Buy a Tesla," unquote. Alex leased a Model 3 and is enjoying driving it a great deal. Wrote this article because, because he is involved with Ed, and everyone assumes that anyone involved with Ed would never own anything with a Tesla logo on it. I think he just wanted to kind of come out and go, "Hey, I'm a Tesla owner," and I drive it and I like it. A perfectly reasonable article that I have no argument with as far as why he likes the Tesla, why he leased it as opposed to buying. Cheers to him for not just driving the BMW, what is it, M3 that I think he has, and that silly three-wheel Morgan thing. Sorry, don't punch me, Alex. Don't punch me. The three-wheelers. Anyway, suffice to say, there he is. He even has a screen cap on the Drive article of his vehicle order agreement, $53,700 worth of lease for his exciting Model 3. So I don't know that there's a lesson here other than, and Alex has never been a Tesla hater. I don't know that I would argue that Ed Niedermeyer's never been a Tesla hater. There's certain things about Tesla that he doesn't like.
So he bought a Unicorn. It's a long-range rear-wheel drive. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
Black paint.
Yeah.
What I found interesting in the article is how Alex outlined what he needed in a car.
Mhm.
He kind of outlined the different pieces that he wanted in his car, what he had to do with his car. And when you added all those pieces up, all roads led to Tesla. So it was interesting to see that, because I don't want to spend extended monies on fuel, I got a new job where I'm traveling a great deal. I need a car that's going to get me there efficiently and cost effective. And I like the ability to be able to listen to audio and have a good stereo, and all these different things led him down to the Tesla Road. And it was basically select between an S and a 3, and certainly he felt that the 3's cost was a much better proposition based on the extra room he would get in an S. So it was interesting that he, all these different factors, he really only had one choice as it turns out.
And he made the logical choice because Alex is a smart guy, and I don't think there are certainly issues that I have with Tesla, but it doesn't mean that I think all of their products are bad or that all their cars. Anybody who buys their car is an idiot. Alex Roy is not an idiot, and like as you said, he laid out a very good case. He has this 370-mile commute that he has to do once a week, and what better car than the 3? And cheers to him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, our final story of the evening is going to Mr. Green, and it's concerning a Tesla pickup.
Oh, yes.
What?
The Tesla
And if that
pickup.
doesn't make sense, it will shortly.
Something like Blade Runner? No. He was beat to the punch. The lady who makes the terrible robots on YouTube decided she wanted a pickup truck, and it had to be electric. And so she picked a Model 3, as you see on the screen. They're in red. And she and a couple of our YouTube regulars sliced it to pieces, and they made a commercial about it.
Yeah.
This Rich Rebuilds was involved in this.
Yeah, Rich Rebuilds was one of them.
Yeah.
And then after you watch the commercial, you can see the making of, not of the commercial, but of the car. And it was quite interesting. I watched it all.
It was interesting that someone took a brand new car plus, and converted it into a pickup.
Yeah.
They mapped it out. They talked about, during the making of video. It was interesting to see what was involved, what cuts they made first, and it was really interesting to see the parts they saved, like the back window, how they removed it. And then they determined that the trunk was not going to be used whatsoever. So then they just decided to key it.
That hurt my ears.
It was like terrible watching that. Just painful watching them key the trunk, a brand new car. But of course, that's YouTube views is what's going on there. But interesting that they did this. And I have to say, it doesn't look horrible. It looks, out of place, but it's not as bad as a hatch job that I thought it might be.
Yeah.
And of course, you don't really know until you get up close. Like pictures are pictures. A video of a drone flying over it doesn't really show you what's going on with it if you get up close. But apparently, it's not done. It's going to take a few more months or maybe a year to complete. But they did rush out this particular video and are going to add to the vehicle to completely finish it, because I believe it's not waterproof as we speak.
Yeah, the bed is not waterproof.
There are some things that are going to have to be upgraded and painted or modified in order to make it a useful truck.
It needs an interior, but it looks a lot better than the other Tesla pickup truck we saw.
Right.
As far as completion is concerned, the Tesla Mino. Yeah, so this truck, I was impressed. And if you look at the picture again, you can see that it looks like she will still be able to use full self-drive whenever that does come out, because all the sensors are in place.
Yeah, all the sensors remained.
Wow.
But it does look a little weird. But hey, if you got the money, you got the time, and you got the friends to help you, then hey, go right ahead, make a video about it. But
Simone there, she pointed out that she can't fit a full sheet of plywood. It's short by just a couple of inches, and so you've got the roof rack, and then once the bed is waterproofed, you've got the full truck bed. So this is actually a very practical, assuming that it was mass constructed instead of hacked together. It's actually a very practical small pickup.
Yep. So there we go, of zipping through the field, throwing up dust. It's unique. It's interesting. I guess we'll wait for the next video and see how this goes. Maybe get a close up of it in the future. But that, my friends, I think is the end of the show. Mr. Green, anything to share with us about maybe a video channel you produce?
I do. YouTube.com/KC Green. That's KACEYGREEN. It'll be mostly supercharger reviews and the EV lifestyle with a focus on Tesla.
Very good. Very good.
What's the EV lifestyle?
Well, road trips are super cheap.
On your wall behind you.
Sal's Hubcap Emporium. So the EV lifestyle is just the lifestyle that's enabled by living oil free.
Oh, I am such a loser.
You are such a loser.
Wow. I need some EV lifestyle.
Yes.
Well, he can't be any much closer to it than being part of the Tesla life, Russell.
Right.
So does that count? I mean,
no.
Oh, okay.
There is a difference of opinion at this point. But we will get that ironed out.
Back to the reporter real quick. So with him leasing it, he can't keep it because he has to be turned in.
Yeah.
Become part of the taxi fleet.
Well, that remains to be seen, doesn't it? That's 3 years down the road.
Oh, you think they might get offer letters to purchase their cars?
Change in that policy before 3 years is up.
All right.
I think there may be.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah. I'm going to go with there's a chance for that.
Okay.
Okay, chat room, this is your final warning. If you have show titles, you need to post them now because I have 3.
What are the top contenders, Russell?
Well, I have 3 contenders, and I don't know if they're tops, but maybe they are. We have the Idiot Trap, I Can't Have Nice Things, and Panel Gaps. Show title, I Need Some EV Lifestyle. Thank you, David.
There we go. There. You ask and you shall receive.
But that's mine. I mean, it's just okay. So I need some EV lifestyle. That is fun. Hockey Day says RoboCop. I'm not sure.
RoboCop.
Is he just like Drink. Oh, okay.
There we go.
Yeah. Rob Cobb.
Hockey Day is into the game big time.
Okay. Hockey Day is messing with my brain. JT24 says maximum gap. I kind of like that. That's good.
Maximum gap. Thrown in the Bob Lux gap. That sounds
There
good.
we go. The only other thing I have to say is, other than watch what drives us in an hour, is our thanks, as always, every week to Lee Moon, who composed our theme music and allows us to play it every week for free. Thank you, Lee Moon. You rock.
Very good. Absolutely. That is fantastic, Lee. We would also like, if you haven't done this already, like and subscribe to the show now. This is your last chance. Give us a thumbs up. Click subscribe.
Please do.
Help us. Give us a hand. And follow us on Twitter at The Tesla Life and on Facebook, The Tesla Life #1. And with that, we will see you all next week and find out what is going on in the Tesla life.
That's crazy.
Hey, everybody.